Let's do some spring accents and centerpieces today. I'm Marie. Welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start by making a spring wreath. Now I'll be using these peonies and they come in a variety of different colors. I have this new green color. It says that it's new, so it's green and then white, and then there's just a little bit of a touch of pink there. There's 12 stems all together. And you can see that there's a little eucalyptus on the end of this stem, and they also have 2 hydrangea stems. So these are real pretty, and they're from Amazon, and I can link those for you below if you're interested. So I don't like to cut my stems because I find later on I end up regretting it if I need a longer stem. So I just prefer to fight with my stems and get them into my wreath forms and kind of wrap them. You'll see me wrap them a little bit in a few minutes, just to get them in there the way I want them. And so I'm just kind of focusing on the bottom of this wreath here. I'm not really going to do the whole wreath all the way around, but I'm just tucking these in. I'm using 2 of the hydrangeas and 2 of the stems and 2 of the peonies. So far I'm liking the way that this looks, and then we're just going to go ahead and fight with those stems a little bit and get those all tied down properly. All right, so I have some ribbon, I have some jute twine, and I have some floral wire. Now the floral wire is green. I'm not sure that's going to work, but I'm going to try to go with what I think works best. And now I'm going to take my stems, all of my unruly stems, and get them secured on there. So I'm taking the jute twine, that's what I decided to use, and I'm just bending those stems like you saw me show you there to get them bent into place, and then I'm just going to tie them on here in different spots around the wreath so that they all stay in place and that they don't end up sticking out in odd places where they're not supposed to. We're just going to turn it over here and we're going to do the other side also. So now each of my side pieces, my stems on the end there, are sticking out more than I want them to. So I'm just going to go back in again with some more of the twine, and I'm just going to secure those end pieces so that they're kind of sticking up more than they're sticking out horizontally. I also added a piece of jute to the top of the wreath so that I could hang that on the nail that's on my wall. Our first centerpiece we're doing today is going to be a simple rustic style. So I'm starting with this table runner that I already have, and I'm adding to that this galvanized tray that I've had for a while. I used to have this up on my shelf above my mixer, and to that I'm adding this sugar mold, and I really wanted one of these. I've been looking at them. Decor Steels has some, and I've seen some other people have them, but I really wanted a smaller one. And so I found this one on where else? Amazon. And it wasn't too expensive, so I went ahead and bought it, and I'm going to add these pinto beans in here just to use those as a filler. And then we're just going to fill that up to the top, smooth it out there. And then after we do that, I have some lamb's ear greenery here, and we're just going to take this and I'm just kind of shoving this into around the tray to kind of fill in those spaces there and then get that all tucked in. And I think lamb's ear is nice for spring. I think I got that at Hobby Lobby. And then we're just going to add some tea lights here to the top. And there you have it. You have just a really nice, simple table centerpiece. All right, centerpiece number 2. Taking the same table runner and this placemat that I have, just going to set that down there, and then to that I'm going to add this black kind of metal hammered metal tray. This is from Walmart, and I really like that. It wasn't that expensive either. So to that, I'm going to add this $5 tray that came from the Target dollar spot. And then to that, I'm going to add this doily, and I think that's going to kind of soften it a little bit, maybe add a little texture to the hard metal and the wood. And then on top of that, I'm going to set my little jug here, actually my little pitcher. But I really love the colors in that. I think it's so pretty, very rustic looking. And then I put the little rabbit tails inside of there. And then this rabbit, this also came from Target. Target has these wood pieces that you can DIY in the craft section. This was only $5. And so I snatched that up. Now I might DIY it later, but I decided to leave it the way it is, and I just put a little bow on it. So if you remember in my Target video that I made, I was saying that I was going to try to grow some real rosemary. Well, here that is. I picked some up at the grocery store and I potted it in this little pot here that I have from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to tuck that on this tray too. I think that that will make a nice accent. And hopefully I will be able to keep this rosemary alive. So to that, I'm going to add my Boxwood Greenery. Now these come in like little bushels, and these also come from Hobby Lobby, and what I did was I did pull these apart and separate them. So I had 2 of these, and I pulled them apart and separated them so that I could tuck them in different places. Now I love to use these in the springtime because they're very green and full, and I think they work well. I also like to use them on my 4th of July trays and my Memorial Day trays because they look really good with the red, white, and blue also. To this now I am adding my salt and pepper shakers in the bunny style that I have. This also came from Hobby Lobby, and these are really inexpensive pieces to get. If you're looking to do little trays or tiered trays, the salt and pepper shakers are always a good bet to get because they are inexpensive and they fill in the smaller spots just really nicely. And again, you're going to see me play around here with this greenery and try to get it just exactly the way I want it. I'm going to tell you, this is something that I really never thought of. You watch other people do it and you think that it's not that hard to do, but I'll tell you what, when you start tucking this stuff in and then you start stepping back and looking at it and you realize that it doesn't look right here, it doesn't look right there. And so you end up doing a lot of tweaking. You end up doing a lot of stepping back, looking at it, coming back in and tweaking it again, just to get it, to get it looking like it just kind of grew that way. It really kind of can take a lot of work to do that, and to get it just the way that you want it. All right, so we've come to just the last spot where I want to add in just a couple more touches here. So what I would really like to do is I want to add in my beaded garland here with the tassel. I just have a small one that I want to add in, and I'm going to just drape that around my picture there. And then to that, I'm going to add one of my neutral carrots. I took this from the entryway, and I'm just adding it in here, and this is the finishing touch for this centerpiece. Okay, centerpiece number 3. We're going to take a placemat that I have. I believe this one came from Kirkland's. And to that I'm going to add this galvanized and I guess it's ceramic tray. I'm not sure where I got this. Right to the center, I'm adding one of my pedestals, and then I'm going to put this is what I call my candy mold rabbit, and to that I'm going to add my candlestick and one of my little green orbs there. That little house I got really, really cheap from the Target dollar spot. I actually got that clearanced from the Target dollar spot. I think I paid like $1.50 for it, or maybe $2 at the most. Adding another wreath there, adding in a little more texture, and then I'm just going to put this large speckled style egg here in the back. And then after I do that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add in some more greenery. I'm going to add in one of those peonies, smaller ones that have not opened yet, and then I'm going to add in some baby's breath, and you're going to see me just kind of fiddle with this again. The greenery and the florals are the things that I fiddle with the most. And again, I do think some of that with the stems is just because I don't cut the ends of them. And so I'm just trying to make sure everything kind of tucks in there and fits nicely and isn't sticking out oddly or in weird places. And voila, there you go. There we have it. Just the way I want it. Just tuck a few eggs in there on the side. And then after we get all that situated, we're going to come back around to the front. And then I'm going to add a little color here with these carrots. I've had these for a couple seasons and I haven't used them very much, or maybe at all. I can't even remember. And then to that, I'm going to add another one of these green peonies. And if you look at that, it almost looks like a cabbage, which I think is kind of cool because it looks nice with a rabbit. And then to that, I added another peony just to the side. And then I'm just arranging those carrots And then we're going to go back to the back and we're just going to add in a couple more things. This pretty peony floral here. And then we're going to add just to the side a little pink egg, just tucking out on the side there. If you remember last month, I did put the white flowers and the lamb's ear into this wall basket, and I just added a couple, well, 3 more of those peonies in there, and I just wanted to show it to you how it looks. I knew I was going to fill it in with some color. I just wasn't sure what I was going to do, and I think that these peonies fit the bill nicely. Okay, so the last centerpiece we're going to do is super simple, super easy. We're going to go ahead and add that eucalyptus greenery in here, and I am just adding my pineapple candle that I got at, I believe I got this at Marshall's. I love the smell of this. It is so nice. It smells so good. It just reminds me of spring and summer, and I just love it. And so there is the 4th centerpiece idea that I have for you today. Lastly, this is the ribbon that I purchased last month from Joann's, and I had it on hand and I wanted to use it. I just cut it in 3 equal parts, so they're all 36 inches long. I'm going to need 3 of them. I made a little knot. Now I tried to do this off of camera, like the whole bow, and I just couldn't do it. It just didn't work. So I ended up making the knot first and then sliding it onto the hook, as you can see what I'm doing here. And then I just went ahead and made the bow. But I was going to use my gingham ribbon, and I just felt like the gingham ribbon that I bought, that I had showed you, was just a little bit too wide. And I also felt like it was just going to clash with the ribbon that I have on my wreath that you're going to see in a few minutes. And I do think that this ribbon could be a little bit larger, just a little bit wider would probably have been better. But all in all, I'm still pretty happy with it and the way it turned out. And I think it just adds a nice little touch to my carrot garland that I made last month. And if you didn't see that video, I can link that in the description box for you. I think the ribbons just add to it. Again, like I said, it probably would be nice if they were just a little bit wider, but that's the ribbon that I bought and I had on hand, and I think it works just as well. But it looks a lot better in person even than it does on camera. I think that it does look, even like it looks kind of small on camera, but it does look nicer when you see it in person. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Here's another video for you in case you're interested. I certainly appreciate your watching, and I will see you in the next one.